Hold on, y'all. Before we get started, make sure y'all hit the gear icon at the bottom. Hit 1080p or 4K to get the best quality of the video. Because why do my quality be going down when I upload it on YouTube sometimes? I don't know. We'll figure it out. But until then, make sure y'all hit the little send gear thing at the bottom. Appreciate y'all. Weed heads can function very normally in society. Chronic or long-term use of marijuana affects higher level mental activity called executive functions. This is why we can't tell the effects so easily on a surface level. This is called the subtle approach. Now, when you tell the regular person to smoke all day, yeah, weed make you stupid, or it negatively affects you intellectually, they'll say, bro, what? I'm straight. Like, I read, I'm smarter than this person. Like, bro, I'm good. It say on a decision-making test, smokers, long-term smokers were impaired 70% of the time. Non-smokers was impaired 8% of the time. That's a 62% difference. Keep in mind, if we already at the bottom, you don't have the luxury of being able to float through life being impaired 70% of the time, mentally impaired. All right, y'all, welcome back to another episode of the Don't Be a Viking podcast. Appreciate y'all tapping into another episode. As y'all see, we're in a different scene. We're in my room. We finna get into a one-on-one conversation, real educational type video. If y'all like these type of videos, let me know. Like it, watch it, share it, all that good stuff. If it get good results, good engagement, we'll do more videos like this. With that being said, let's go and get into it. Today, we're going to talk about how does weed affect our brain? How does weed affect our intellect? Now, in the previous video, I'll put the video somewhere on the screen right here. Me and the sister named Kizzy, we went into the conversation. I was saying how no leader of the household should smoke weed for multiple reasons. This is one of them. So the other reasons, we're going to get into separate videos. I don't want to make one big long video, because if I make a hour-long video just off stuff like this, like stating the facts and getting into the research, it might not be able to keep everybody's attention span focused for that long. So some you really wanted to know, you probably would have clicked off of some before we got into that part of the video. So we're just going to break them all up. But with that being said, bam, let's go and get into it. Wait, before we get into it, because I was talking to Kizzy, I was talking to some other people about this topic. When you talk about logic that don't necessarily apply directly to me or you, we can have a straight conversation. Like, yeah, this right, yeah, this wrong. Simple as that. But when you talking to somebody, or if you yourself indulge in the thing that you're trying to determine is right, is wrong, right or wrong, then people start, wavering in their logic. So in the video with Kizzy, I had basically said, if some come in between you and being more intelligent, being more brave, being this, being that, would you stop that thing? She said, yeah. We get into the facts about weed, and we talk about how it affects your intelligence, how it affects your bravery, this, that, and the third. And now it's like, well, it don't do that to me, so it's all right. You see what I'm saying? Like, the logic beforehand was, yeah, anything that come in between me and intelligence, me and bravery, me and my financial situation, me and God, me and my spouse, anything that come in between these things, cut it off. But then we actually try to apply the conversation or apply the logic, and weed being one of the things you indulge in, but it also be one of them things that's on this checklist that we just agreed to cut off. Now it's, all right, cool, we'll make exceptions for it. So this is what I say about that. If you one of the people who, just because you indulge in it, you will let your personal feelings for the matter get in the way of your logic for the matter, then hey, this video might not be for you. But even if you indulge in it, if you able to look at the facts and say, all right, cool, I can take it in, I can understand it, I can apply it. You might not be able to apply it right now. You might not be able to watch this video while you smoking to say, you know what, it's done. I'm gonna stop forever. Come on, cuz, like, be realistic. I know it ain't gonna be that dramatic of a change that fast, but don't be the type of person who just want to ignore the facts and make excuses all day instead of just owning up to it. Take the knowledge, know the wrongs of it, know the cons of it, If you still choose to indulge in it after that, hey, that's you. But don't be the type of person that just make pointless excuses all the time just because you want to keep indulging in what you indulge in. All right, bam. Now let's get into it. New research on marijuana confirms that it damages cognitive functioning. The principal target of delta 9 THC. Delta 9 THC is a molecule in marijuana. The principal target of delta 9 THC is the brain. The plant constituent delta 9 THC has been found to produce many characteristic cognitive deficits in both human and animal subjects. It impairs the brain's functioning, particularly with regard to chronic use. The consensus of workers in the field is that chronic recreational use of marijuana may be associated with cognitive dysfunction, and indeed, that this significant pathology is related to structural changes in the brain. A recent study demonstrated that smoking 4 joints or more per week resulted in a decrement in mental test performance. Subjects who had smoked regularly for a decade or more did the worst. The investigators found that long-term marijuana users were impaired 70% of the time on a decision-making test, compared to 55% for short-term users and 8% for non-users. Bam, let's just stop there before we keep going. It messes with your cognitive functioning, your brain, your intelligence. Okay. In the video with Kizzy, I was saying no leader, no man of the household should smoke weed. Why? Because if anything messes with your intelligence, that means it negatively affects you, but it also negatively affects your wife and kids. Check this out. In the video, Kizzy was like, a good goal or the highest goal she want to achieve out of life is creating peace. I asked her, are black people oppressed? She said yes. So, is oppression the opposite of peace? Yeah. So, if a regular person is not oppressed, if achieving peace for them already a challenge, an oppressed person, let's say peace up here, this a regular person. Okay, this the way you gotta go. An oppressed person start down here. So this is a extremely tough goal. With any tough goal in life, it takes an extreme amount of focus, intention, skills, etc. To have a skill, you got to be learned. You have to go through a process of learning how to get good at whatever you're trying to get good at, discipline, etc. All right, cool. All these things it takes to achieve high goals out of life. Let's say getting rich. Boy, that's a super hard goal for the regular person. A poverty-stricken person, a person that's oppressed, a person that's at the bottom, boy, getting rich even harder. Cool, we can agree on these things. So, if life is even harder for us, but it already take an extreme amount of focus, intelligence, skills, everything else for the regular person to achieve the high goal, for us, it's going to take even more of those things. So, to accomplish something, we're going to stick with getting rich. To accomplish getting rich, it's going to have to take so much effort and dedication, so much focus and intention. Why would you want to indulge in something as an oppressed person, a person that is already harder in life for you? Why would you want to indulge in something that takes away from your intelligence, that takes away from your focus and intention? You know what this is going to do? Keep you in whatever state you in. This is not going to help elevate you, but we'll get to that later. Let's keep going. Just want to put that in your head as we read. It say, before we go to the next bit of research, it say on a decision-making test, smokers, long-term smokers were impaired 70% of the time. Non-smokers was impaired 8% of the time. That's a 62% difference. Keep in mind, if we already at the bottom, you don't have the luxury of being able to float through life being impaired 70% of the time, mentally impaired 70% of the time. You can't afford that. The person that was impaired the less, that's the person who got a higher probability of getting out of whatever negative situations they want to get out of. All right. Weed heads can function very normally in society. Chronic or long-term use of marijuana affects higher level mental activity called executive functions. This is why we can't tell the effects so easily on a surface level. This is called the subtle approach. Now, when you tell the regular person to smoke all day, yeah, weed make you stupid, or it negatively affects you intellectually, they'll say, bro, what? I'm straight. Like, I read, I'm smarter than this person. Like, bro, I'm good. It'll make me stupid. How I'm stupid? You know what I'm saying? They get defensive. Now, going off this research, it do not affect your day-to-day life. I think the next slide, let me make sure before I say that out loud. Yeah, the next slide get into this even more. But it do not affect your day-to-day life. The same stuff you've been doing that you know how to do, like the back of your hand, like tying your shoe, riding the bike. You know what I'm saying? If you work at Amazon, you throw boxes all day. You smoking weed every day, all day will not affect your ability to throw boxes. That's something you already know how to do. But using your higher mental capabilities, that's where it affects you. Now, we just said if we want peace out of life, if we want the higher things out of life, these high achievements, and this is going to take extreme amount of effort, extreme amount of intention and focus, then these same goals we have will not be the little goals like, yeah, I'm going to just throw more boxes at Amazon. That don't take much mental capability. To achieve the goals we want, like Kizzy said, achieving real peace as a black woman in America who damn near living in hell, not her specifically. I ain't saying like she just messed up in life. I'm saying as black people as a whole, if we live in hell here in America and you want to achieve peace, heaven, then that will not only take an extreme amount of focus and intention, it's going to also take higher level of brain function to be able to think on a higher level, to be able to execute the goals. Because you can't execute without a master game plan. To be able to think on that higher level to get you where you need to go, that's what weed affects. All right, let's get into it. I don't even want to keep saying my thoughts on it. Let's see what the scholars say. What we just said. Cool, next slide. It is apparent from many years of research that long-term use of marijuana does not result in gross cognitive defects. So, like we said, you can work at Amazon and bro, you'll be all right. However, recent reviewers agree that there is now sufficient evidence that it leads to a more subtle and selective impairment of higher cognitive functions, which arises from altered functioning of the frontal lobe, hippocampus, and cerebellum. Let me zoom in, y'all, because I'm finna strain my eyes. All right, bam, this way better. Zoom in a little bit more. Where we was at in cerebellum. The findings from recent methodologically, geez Louise, methodologically, rigorous research provide evidence for impaired learning, organization, and integration of complex information and tasks involving various mechanisms of attention, memory, processes, and executive function. This executive function thing is what we were saying, the higher mental functions. Cool. It is not clear to what extent the alterations in brain function and cognitive impairments as detected in laboratory testing might impact upon daily life. Although users themselves complain of problems with memory, concentration, loss of motivation, paranoia, depression, dependence, and lethargy. Let's stop for a second. The loss of motivation part is a part that need to be touched on. Because like I said, if we at the bottom, we can't afford no loss of motivation. When it get to the, is it gonna say it on this slide? It's all right. I can speak ahead. We'll still read it and y'all get it straight from the researcher's mouth. But not only do we produce a loss of motivation, it produces a loss of focus, which affects your willpower, and it produces a false euphoric feeling. Now, feeling euphoric or happy is not necessarily bad. False happiness is bad. Because think about this. If you oppressed, if you in a situation where you don't like how life is for you right now, and then you just take this intoxicant, and even though you living in hell, the intoxicant make you say, I'm okay. That's bad. Because if you say you okay while you in hell, that feeling of okay will not lead you to work your way out of hell. It's gonna lead you to sit in hell relaxed. That's a problem. If you feeling dissatisfied, don't try to feel some false euphoric feeling from taking an intoxicant. If you feel dissatisfied, let that sit in. Be dissatisfied. Be stressed out. Why? Because in that feeling of pain, in that feeling of torment from being dissatisfied in whatever situation you in, that's going to push you to, bro, whatever I need to do, let me figure a way out of this. That's going to put all focus towards the goal. Let's say if you step on a nail or something, bro, you don't care what you were just finna go do. Let's say I'm finna go to the kitchen. I'm super hungry. I'm finna go to the kitchen. Bam, while I'm in the hallway, I step on the nail. Even though I was finna go get some food, the pain I'm feeling right now is so great. If everything else, I'm putting all focus on the pain. Now imagine if I didn't feel, or I took something to make me not feel the nail in my foot. I would just keep walking, keep going to the kitchen, do what I was finna do, and let the problem stay there. But if you feel the pain of the problem, bam, all focus, let's get it done. Bam, that's what I wanted to touch on, that lack of motivation part. What else? You say, what we just said? Lack of motivation, Lagarde. All right, cool. Whatever bro name is, I'm not even gonna try to say it. He has argued that there is no clear causal relationship between marijuana use and job performance. The nature of the cognitive deficits, as assessed by psychological testing, suggests that long-term users will perform reasonably well in routine tasks of everyday life, although they may be more distractible and short-term memory may be compromised. Difficulties are likely to be encountered in performing complex tasks that are novel or cannot be solved by automatic application of previous knowledge, or with tasks that rely heavily on the memory component or require strategic planning and multitasking. You will have no problem doing things that are routine, but you can't grow that way. This is producing a complacent person who can use their hands well, but not their brain. This is the type of man the enemy wants to produce, because this type of man is less of a threat. One cigarette containing 2% of THC produces feelings of well-being and euphoria, accompanied by relaxation, sleepiness, and laughter, depending on dosage and setting. After smoking several joints or more potent forms of THC, short-term memory is impaired and there is deterioration in capacity to carry out tasks requiring multiple mental steps. And we ain't gonna go into it. That's the same thing we were just saying previously. Marijuana has been found in general to decrease hostility. Now, it's a lot here. I'm gonna put the whole paragraph on the screen, but this is why I highlighted this part where it. Hostile is not a bad adjective. What you hostile towards can depend on, okay, or not depend. What you hostile toward can determine if the hostility is bad or not. Let's say if you just hostile in general to everybody, to everything, okay, that's a little bad. Say you hostile towards your brother, towards your sister, that's bad. Hostile only mean opposition. Let me make sure I ain't tripping. Hostile means unfriendly or antagonistic. Unfriendly. That's it. All right, cool. Let's go back to the slides. So as a grown man, if you friendly or welcoming or accepting to everything and everybody, you ain't no man at all. You don't got no backbone. So hostility is not bad. You should be hostile towards certain things. Cool. So if marijuana decrease hostility, we don't, or we can't afford to be in the position we in and be accepting of everything. Yeah, no matter how you is, even though we in a dumb, deaf, and blind condition, if you come with more stupidity, yeah, we accepting it. If you come with more oppression, yeah, we accepting it. Now, we won't accept blatant oppression. We know better than that. You come slap me, I'm slap you back. But we can't even accept the type of stuff like condoning negativity or condoning things that will lead to a negative outcome in our communities. Now, if it decreased hostility, I smoked this joint. Let's say the little sister twerking. Boy, I done seen plenty of videos, little 6-year-old, 7-year-old young sisters twerking. Cool. Let's say normally I see that I'm getting on the young sister butt. Her mama, I'm getting on her butt. Whoever it is, whoever responsible for the little sister acting like this, I'm getting on their butt. Let's say I hit my stuff. I see the little sister doing her thing, and I be like, I'm gonna leave it for somebody else. No, that's cowardice. Like, if it decreased hostility and we in a situation where we can't afford hostility to be decreased, the only thing we can afford is our hostility be aimed in the right direction, not towards my brother, not towards my sister, but towards the enemy. Even if the enemy is in my sister's head, if my sister say, yeah, it's okay for her little daughter to twerk like that, then the enemy has implanted himself in the sister head. So I'm attacking the sister's mindset. And now I gotta go to war with her mind, and we gonna come out with a better solution than letting the little sister twerk. You know what I'm saying? We can't afford hostility to be decreased. We need to up our hostility and aim it towards the right person. Now, let's go to the next slide. What the heck did I just do? Let me zoom back up. All right, this is the last thing I'm saying on this topic, because I almost got into the other stuff on accident. I almost got into how we feminize us, how we mess with our financial situation, how we help the enemy criminalize us, and how weed is used as a form of social control against us. But we're going to handle all four of them in separate videos, so you'll really be able to lock in on each. But this is the last thing we're going to say. Folks would be like, bro, weed natural. Da, 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 da. It's all right if I smoke weed because it come from the earth. God made weed. God also made the pig. That don't mean you're supposed to consume the pig. God also made poison ivy. That come from the ground. You don't hear folks arguing, yeah, we should go smoke poison ivy. You know what I'm saying? But since we popularized and it's put in your face and given to you to smoke, you say, yeah, God made it, and start making justifications. God also made the coca plant. I couldn't think of for some reason. God also made the coca plant where they derive cocaine from. I hope you ain't advocating, let's go do cocaine just because it come from some natural, the coca plant. Then you say, but the other stuff was added to it. That's what made it, da, da, da. Other stuff was added to weed too. You add other stuff to weed yourself. You put this on it. I seen somebody roll a blunt up and dip it in some, what's it called? Some lean and smoke it. You add extra stuff to it yourself. Then you say, bro, I don't do all that. Okay, you still go get the backwood. That's tobacco. That's extra harmful to you. You know what I'm saying? But even for the folks that say, yeah, it's natural, let's go into how, yeah, it's not natural. Street marijuana has increased remarkably in potency over the past 5 years. Confiscated materials in 1975 rarely exceeded 1% THC. By 1979, 4 years later, samples as high as 5% THC content were common. So in 4 years, it increased times 5. All right, cool. Hash oil, a marijuana extract unavailable a decade ago, has been found to have THC content as high as 28%, with more typical samples analyzed by University of Mississippi chemists ranging from 15 to 20% THC. This came from the National Institute on Drug Abuse Marijuana Research findings in 1980. The stuff you smoking now, not pure. But like we said earlier, since you ain't just jumping off the wall, since it's got this more subtle approach, subtle effect, you feel like, yeah, bro, I'm just as fine. You not. Now, we can also get into how marijuana was manipulated. Not even was, is manipulated. If y'all care about a video about that too. But since I don't know the temperament on the video like that, how well folks gonna receive it and watch it or whatever, we'll save it for another time until I feel like folks are really tap in on it. For now, we just gonna stick with the why shouldn't a leader. Well, I'm speaking on it from the perspective of why the man should smoke weed. But anybody can take this knowledge. The woman, the kids, everybody can take this knowledge of why you individually and everybody else shouldn't smoke weed. But right now, I'm keeping it on the mindset of why the leader of the household should not smoke weed. So right now, we just gonna keep doing these topics. How it feminize us, how it do this, how it do that, how it's attack on our bravery, attack on masculinity, etc. Now, with that being said, before I get the rambling and go into the other topics and take some of the information I was going to use on the next video, we're going to end it right here. Now, I appreciate y'all tapping into this episode of the Don't Be a Viking podcast. If y'all like what y'all heard, like I said, show y'all like this. Share it, comment, like it, whatever you got to do to let me know. All right, cool, they rocking with it. And we'll do more informational videos like that. Appreciate y'all tapping in.